Hi, I'm Kimberly Lane.
I'm Jonathan Ward.
I'm Sonia. Together, we're unlocking leadership. We are three experienced executive coaches with very different disciplines. In every episode, we take a question from a real client and provide key insights to address their challenge from our three different perspectives. It is a holistic approach to understand challenges and opportunities. Let's get to it. Our question today is from Warren in Hartford, Connecticut. I've heard the analogy that you don't lead well focused on the rear view mirror. Is there anything leaders should leave behind and let go of in 2022? Kimberly, what are you telling your clients to let go of?
It's a great question. I had to put some thought into that, I think. I actually was collaborating with another executive coach who is also a Vistage Chair. So he has access to 70 CEOs. So I posed this question to him in advance and really trying to get a pulse because he's getting 70 CEOs. That's pretty good, right? From a quantity perspective and opinion. And he was saying, we really need to let go of the mindset that we cannot be effective unless we're in person, right? Because everybody was thinking that, the pandemic would be over. We'd all go back to the way things were. We'd all be back in office. And here we are, 50% of us are pretty much managing others and teams, et cetera, through a hybrid work environment, or it's still 100% virtual. So I think it's changing the mindset that we're not in pause anymore. We have to be effective. We can be highly engaged. We can communicate. We can collaborate. We can be highly innovative and creative. And it's just letting of the mindset as an excuse that's why we didn't perform last year. That's why we're losing people. No, you have the power. It's again that manifestation of we have the power to create collaboration and engagement. And there's a lot of tools and things out there from, podcasts like ourselves to books to, tools and things of just being more empathetic and vulnerable. So I thought that was kind of an interesting thought about it's letting go, not necessarily of something, but letting go of the mindset that we cannot be effective unless we're in person and almost as an excuse, but yet we can be very highly effective and maybe again, more effective than necessarily in person. So.
It's interesting. Hearing that analogy about looking in the rearview mirror, I just heard somebody say yesterday that they said there's one reason that the windshield on your car is much bigger than your rearview mirror, because it's much more important for you to be looking out at the windshield of what's coming up to you in front of you. And, I guess I'm thinking about this whole thought that the pandemic, yes, it's been horrible for us personally and for people's health, but there have been some industries that have really thrived on this. I had some clients in the supermarket industry who they had their best year last year than they've ever better year than they've ever had. They've done more automation. They are farther ahead than they plan to be in 2027 with automation. They saw this as an opportunity. It was the way for them to be able to thrive and get ahead. And so I think that's maybe part of the thing is to let go of that. Somehow this is crippling us to where are there opportunities for us to take advantage of this and to change how we look at the world and how we look at ourselves and what we can do to provide that kind of service. And I was thinking about the people working at home. My next door neighbor works for one of the major financial services institution, and her boss had just changed a couple months before the pandemic and was requiring everybody to come into work. She'd been working from home for 7 years, came in, and then of course after 2 months everybody was going back home again. And so now they're inviting her to come back to the office again, and she really does not want to do that. She's been it was incredibly effective from home before, continued to be effective. Why does she have to do it? Because one boss feels the need to see everybody in the office.
Yeah, that's really true. One of the things that I think that I would like to see leaders let go of is when we used to have certain initiatives and we felt, well, that falls in so-and-so's department, so that's their responsibility. And I think of that when it comes to diversity and inclusion. And I think that before that would have been something that would have been easily put into the bucket of HR. So it's HR's initiative, HR needs to do that. And I think everybody needs to do that. We really all need to be very aware that we can lead the charge from wherever we're sitting, and we can be part of it and contribute to it and bring up ideas. And we can't wait for some other group to be the one that's going to take the initiative on something like that and on anything else. So that's
Right.
one of the areas that I think we have to leave behind is, hey, if you're showing up to work and you're part of this company, then if you got an idea and it's going to work out, or you want to contribute in some area, chip in.
That's a
Yeah,
great point. Yeah, I think, I mean, you can't wait to be called on. You have to be, if you've been quiet or reserved in the past and waiting for the boss to go around the room and call people out, that's not going to happen. You're going to have to, if you have an idea, you have to bring it forward. Yeah.
Yeah, so a lot more personal accountability, even on the DEI, as opposed to just following what HR program and you completed the assessment and sent it in. But I think it's really taking a personal level of accountability and how you contribute and how you can change. I recently wrote a blog regarding DEI, and I came from a really different perspective. Was the essence that, sometimes we might feel that I think first of all, I think all of us at one point in our life have felt what it feels like to not belong, to not be inclusive, to be rejected, or just not feel like you fit in or understood or really cared about, right? But then there's also the side that, so how often are we showing up with a mask? How often are we not showing up as our full self in our own power, right? Because we're feeling inadequate, we're feeling insecure, and we're not being vulnerable enough to communicate that. So by not accepting our own self, how can we expect to have the vibration high enough that others can accept ourselves as well? So I thought that was just really kind of a different way of looking at it. And as leaders, I think sometimes we're always feeling we have to be confident, we have to be powerful, we have, we can't have anything that's a guess or feel insecure. But I think there's a balance, there's a fine balance in there to be vulnerable and to really look at how much are you connecting with yourself first, so that you allow for that authentic connection with others where they can feel safe enough to be who they are too. So it's kind of interesting thought.
Yeah, I think that's probably very true. I think the other thing is we all better have a different meter for comfort with ambiguity.
Yes.
Because we cannot assume that the changes in the future. I mean, I was thinking about this regarding you, Jonathan, specifically, because you've actually been around people that have gone into space. And if anything, the level of familiarity that many different companies are getting with technologies for space and using things in space, that's a whole nother area. In any new area that's complex like that, there's going to be a lot of stuff we don't know. But we've got to start getting comfortable with, hey, what other information do I need to get? Or maybe I won't have all the information, but that's okay, because at least this is how much I can write on that. Do you have anything to share with us regarding?
Well, I was just thinking a couple of weeks ago, I had the rare privilege to be able to watch a SpaceX launch from up close. I mean, it was only 3 miles away from the launch pad when it happened. I was just thinking about what they've done in terms of breaking paradigms about how things, we've always done space this way for 60 years. Right. Yeah. And now suddenly we're going to find a cheap way to do it. And Elon Musk had this talk in the second week of February where he got out and kind of shared his vision. And yeah, some of the things were off the wall, but it's fantastic to hear people who are sharing big, bold, audacious ideas again and get you thinking and get you wondering, how can you really make this kind of thing happen? And I think that's what we really need. It goes back to, we can think out of the box, but then you've got to be able to take it the next step and actually make something happen from that. There's one thing to break the paradigm, and then there's another thing to actually come up with whatever the next thing is and make that continue to work. And I think we're seeing that happen in a number of different industries and different aspects of the work environment now.
Yeah, it's one thing to dream it, but it's another thing to believe it and do it, right? So yeah,
absolutely.
Excellent. So Sonia, anything else you want to add?
No, I think that those are pretty, if they leave those behind in the rearview mirror, I think they're going to be better off. What do you think? Letting go.
It's I think too, when you're looking in the rear view mirror, you're living in the past, right? And that, other than from learning from it, there's really not much it's going to benefit you. So it's really about creating opportunity, manifesting abundance, believing you can do it, believing things are going to get better. And, I think there's a lot to be said for confidence with that and keeping your knees bent from an ambiguity perspective too. Thank you, Warren from Hartford, for your question today. We hope you, our viewers and listeners, gain new insights on what you can leave behind this year. To our listeners, if you like the content we shared today, please like the episode and also share and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Unlocking Leadership askthecoaches.com. We look forward to reading your reviews. You can also find Unlocking Leadership Ask the Coaches on Apple Podcasts or your favorite podcast platform. If you have a leadership question or would like to reach out to one of our coaches, please email us at info@unlockingleadership-askthecoaches.com. We would love to hear from you. Thanks for joining us today. Tune in next time to find the keys to unlocking your best leadership.